Hello, everybody. I'm Rahul Godke from the Content Manager Engineering team, and today I'm going to share some troubleshooting steps for the Content Manager Teams integration and the Zero Footprint Office integration. So, in this video, we will cover some of the issues that you might come across when you set up a fresh installation of Content Manager and the Teams integration, and also some of the issues that you might come across when you upgrade an existing setup of the integration. I'll also share some additional checks which will help you set up the integration in the correct way. So, coming to the first troubleshooting issue, uh, after you set up the fresh integration between Content Manager and Teams or Zero Footprint, and you try to access the Content Manager tab, you might see a login pop up. So, let me show that to you. So, here I've set up the Teams integration with Content Manager, and I'm now trying to access the Content Manager tab to work on it. So yeah, I'm seeing an login pop-up which is incorrect. So the reason for this is incorrect configuration in the IIS of the web server. So we need to enable anonymous authentication for the CM Service API virtual directory. So I'm enabling anonymous authentication, and you need to disable the Windows authentication. Going back to the integration, let me refresh this page. Okay. Now when I try to open the Content Manager tab in Teams, it should load correctly for me. Yeah. So this is loaded, and I'm able to see the content, the user chats that the user wants to file to Content Manager. So that's how you fix the invalid login pop-up issue. Moving on to the next one. Um, so when you are trying to view records that are filed from Teams to Content Manager, and we are trying to view them in the web client, you might see an error like this: the web client URL is not set. Please speak to your administrator. So let me show that to you. So yeah, I already have a record which is filed to Content Manager, and I'm trying to view it in web client. So from the menu, I'll try to click on open and then web client. Yeah, so we are seeing this error that the web client URL is not set. So for that, you need to open the CM client and go to the administration and system options. In the web services, you need to provide the URL for the web client application, and then hit OK. So once this is set, again we'll go back to the Teams UI, and I'll refresh this browser. Okay, and now again I'll try to view the record in web client. Open web client. So it'll start, will show us the record in web client with all the properties and everything. Yeah. So this we are able to view the record in web client. Another error you might encounter when trying to open a record in web client is error pop up something like this: error content manager web client is unable to establish connection to the web service. So again, let me demonstrate that to you. So yeah, I have a record already created and I'm trying to view it in web client. So you might encounter an error message like this. So to fix this, there are two steps to be done. In the web client folder on your web server, uh, there's a web.config file. You need to search for uh, deny user question mark, and you need to replace it with allow user star. And in the HPRM service API config file, there's a service feature tag where you need to provide HTML as a service feature. So let me do that for you. I'm going to my web server. I already have the web.config file open here. So as I said, deny users question mark needs to be replaced by allow user star. We save this. Is in the HPRM service API config file in the HP trim tag. There's an attribute service features. You need to specify HTML here. Let's go back to the CM integration. I'll try to refresh the browser. Okay, let's try to view the record in web client. Okay, so with both the fixes done, the record renders correctly in web client. Moving on, now let's look at some issues you might encounter when you upgrade an existing setup of Content Manager and Teams integration to the latest version of Content Manager. These upgrade issues will typically occur when you are using the browser-based version of Teams or zero footprint Office integration. If you are using the desktop versions of Teams, signing out and signing back in the Teams app would resolve these issues. Now, these issues occur because the browser caches the JavaScripts. So, in order to get rid of these issues, you need to clear the browser cache and the JavaScript cache. So, let me quickly show you how it is done. So, let's say I've loaded my application in a browser. So, using the F12 key, I'll load the developer tools, and there I'll select the networking tab and click on the JS or the JavaScript, and then I'll try to load my content manager tab. So here, just um, type in main in the box, and this main.js is the file which is delivered by the content manager app. So you need to right click this and you need to select clear browser cache, say yes, and then you try to reload the tab again, and more often than not it should get loaded correctly. So that is how we clear the browser cache. Another issue that you might face is uh, you might have set up multi-tenant application for the content manager Teams integration, but you're able to see only one data set when you try to check in a record or try to access the content manager admin UI. So again, it could be because of the browser caching various JavaScript files. So again, try to load the app, uh, then bring up the developer console, click on network JS, and in this box type console config, and yeah, this config file, it holds the settings for multi-data set. So you need to right click and again say clear browser cache, click OK. And one more additional step for this is go to the application tab and expand the local storage and click on your website URL. For me, this is cmweb.cmlab.com. And then right click the My Database key and select refresh. So yeah, this is the My Databases key. Right click and refresh. And then you try to reload the browser and your multi-data set should start showing up correctly. Now I'm going to share a couple of additional checks that will help you configure your content manager teams or the zero footprint integration in the correct way. So the content manager teams integration relies on the Azure app for access to the teams APIs or the zero footprint APIs. Therefore, location in content manager should be mapped to a user in Azure which has access to these APIs. So to do that, you need to have a location which is mapped to a user in Azure. So the way we do it is, let's say this is my user. I'll just right click on it, properties, go to the network login, and in here, in the alternative login fields, you need to provide the email address of the Azure user. Save it, and that's it. So the next troubleshooting tip that I'm going to share, I've used this very frequently for troubleshooting the integrations. This has been very helpful for me to narrow down the steps that might have gone wrong while setting up this integration. So for this, you need to enter your service API, CM service API URL using the HTTPS. You'll be prompted to enter up the credentials. So I'm using my current user, giving the password. And once this help page loads, we'll go down to the samples. And in the first sample, there's a record browser link. Click on it. In the top right drop down, instead of records, select location and then type in me and click the search button. So if you're able to see the details of the location to which the email address of the Azure user has been mapped, and if all of the steps of the integration have been performed correctly, you'll start seeing this location in CM. And if that is the case, more often than not, your integration is correct and it should work as expected. So that's all what I had to share for these integration troubleshooting. I hope these steps help you resolve most of your issues that you may encounter while working with Content Manager and the Teams integration or the Zero Footprint integration. Thank you for your time.